For years, tax dollars have gone to help nonprofits that are doing some sort of good in our community.
But some are questioning a $250,000 donation made to one of them. Tonight, Target 7's John Cardinelli looks at what happened and whether it's legal.
Your tax dollars have entered the abortion debate.
The majority of people in the city don't want to see their tax dollars going to support abortions.
You're just taking $250,000 out of the city budget and giving it to what I would call a very controversial organization that has a strong advocacy position.
That organization is Planned Parenthood, which provides health care to women and also performs abortions. And while the city council was debating the budget, this councilor, Tammy Feeblecorn, proposed an amendment to give them tax dollars. It was approved and came just weeks after news broke that the Supreme Court could be overturning Roe v. Wade.
And for me, a sponsorship to Planned Parenthood was just kind of a no-brainer. These sponsorships are supposed to be for things in the community that we think are vital to make sure that our citizens are happy, entertained, healthy.
But some on the city council, like Dan Lewis, is calling foul because Planned Parenthood has its own political action committee that endorses candidates.
It's an organization that fights against some candidates like me and like others. And so the council decided to give money to a political organization where some of those city councilors benefit from.
Here is a list of the endorsements from the last city election. Feeblecorn was not endorsed. Her opponent was. Others on the council who voted to give Planned Parenthood money did receive endorsements.
What is council going to do with these kinds of donations moving forward? Is this something that is going to become commonplace now, where people take their pet political organizations and hand out money to them on city council? I think that is a dangerous, slippery slope.
Paul Gessing of the taxpayer watch group Rio Grande Foundation is also questioning the legality. He said the sponsorship could violate the state's anti-donation clause.
We would love to challenge it. If there's an attorney willing to do it, we would absolutely love to do that. I'm not a legal expert.
And there have been a number of different instances where public money has gone to organizations for the benefit of the public good.
KOAT legal expert John Day says the anti-donation clause prohibits government from giving organizations money without anything in return.
Well, then I think a lot of people would argue that providing women's health care is a public service to about 50% of the people.
They do pregnancy testing, STD testing, birth control, cervical cancer screenings, breast cancer screenings. I've used them for that before. And they do provide abortion services when they're needed.
Day says there should be some sort of written agreement or contract in place between the city and Planned Parenthood to avoid any legal problems. So far, one doesn't exist.
That clause is in the state constitution to make sure that governments aren't giving money directly to people or businesses for capital. And this is not what this is.
Feeblecorn points out there are other nonprofits that receive money. So Target 7 went through the city's checkbook, and we found contributions have been made to churches, homeless advocacy groups, and youth organizations. They've all received money. Some members of the council, like Lewis, are going to challenge the Planned Parenthood money. They have proposed this piece of legislation that would support other organizations and a youth shelter.
Also, these are organizations that help with counseling and help people get on their feet, and these are the kind of organizations that I think that fund was meant for. Not political organizations, certainly not an organization like Planned Parenthood, who we've never funded with taxpayer dollars before.
Day said he doesn't believe that the opponents to the Planned Parenthood money would win if it went to court.
And that's usually what a court's going to look at to say, was there public input? Was there a chance to debate this? Was there argument both for and against in terms of the public benefit? And at the end of the day, if the city decides to move forward, my guess is the courts are going to uphold that.
For Target 7, I'm John Cardinelli.
Planned Parenthood told us city governments from across the country have invested money in reproductive health care, including Austin, New York, and Washington, D.C.